Hello, fellow Rotarians. My name is Reed Miller, and I am your president of the Rotary Club of Portland. Welcome to our weekly membership meeting. I will now ask that you all join me in reciting the four-way test. Number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you. At this time, I ask any Rotarians who have invited a guest to please raise your hand so that we can introduce your guest to the club. If you are a visiting Rotarian who came on your own, please raise your hand and introduce yourself, or let us know that you're here in the chat box. Carol, do we have any guests with us today?
Yes, Terry Goldman, will you introduce your guest?
Okay, I didn't know I had a guest, so
Your hand was raised.
No, I didn't raise my hand. I was clapping. Clapping.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't have a guest. Sorry.
Sorry, then we
But
don't.
if I have one, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, really. No, we don't have any other raised hands or anything in the chat. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Carol. And of course, thank you to all of our members for joining us here today for another Zoom meeting. Okay, does it feel like Groundhog's Day yet? We all thought Zoom meetings were an era that would be a blip on the radar. I figured working from home would last a month or so, and yet it continues. We continue to go back and forth, seemingly indefinitely, on getting back to normal. One month, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Then the next month, there's a new variant that we're starting all over again. Back to lockdowns, increased mask restrictions, and events getting canceled. Feels a lot like Groundhog's Day to me. It has been 18 months, and there's still not anybody in the entire world that can tell us when or if COVID will ever go away. There's as much uncertainty now about the next few months as there was a year ago. The media's COVID reporting is as polarizing as our last presidential election. The media has found another topic that the population can take sides on. I want to encourage each of you to refrain from taking sides or judging others based on the side that they have chosen. At the end of the day, we are all Rotarians. I'm not defined by whether I voted red or blue. I am not defined by whether I think masks or vaccines should be required for one thing or another. But sure, if you want to define me as a Rotarian, be my guest. I'm proud to be a Rotarian. I am proud to put service above self. I serve as a Rotarian to change the lives of others in my community and around the world. I don't care if the people's lives that I change are red or blue. I care that I am helping to make a difference. I believe that's why each of you are Rotarians as well. I want to remind each of you what brings us together, and remember that we are all on the same team. Each of us as Rotarians, but also each of us on this planet. At the end of the day, we are all on the same team. As we move forward as a club, I hope that each of you remember why we are Rotarians. Whether we meet in person or via Zoom does not impact our ability to put service above self. It does not hinder our ability to change lives. Let's keep our eyes on the prize and continue to show up and help where we can. With that said, I want to thank each of you for taking the time to be with us here today. Thank you. Now, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge all of our Rotarians who joined the Rotary Club of Portland in the month of September. This is your happy Rotary anniversary to all of our September Rotary anniversaries. Please take note and reach out to your fellow Rotarians. Thank you, Skylar. All right, now I'm going to hand over the meeting to Rotarian Terry Goldman, who serves as our chair of the membership committee, to give an update on membership. Welcome, Terry Goldman.
Thank you, President Reed. Appreciate hearing from you. And because it is Groundhog's Day, yes, I'm back to talk about membership. So encourage any and all of you to think of the just one. If you missed the video I shared last week, or the week before last, I'm sorry, You can go and find it on the District 5100 Facebook page, but to look for opportunities to find just one other person that would benefit from the great work that we do as Rotarians, that would be a part of our mission, a part of our vision, believes in the four-way test, and would add greatly to our organization, even while we're still meeting virtually. So there's going to be a few more Groundhog's Days coming up, because I'm going to keep talking about this as we keep continuing to grow our membership. And I want to see that list of celebrating Rotarians and their years of service that start in September grow. And I know we can do it when each of us finds one. Specifically, congratulations to Phil Levinson on 40 plus years of Rotary. Let's go find the next 40 plus year Rotarian that's going to join our club, and to Wes Harper on 30 plus years of service to our organization. So thank you both. Let's all go find those new Rotarians that are going to serve 30 and 40 years with our club and help the Rotary Club of Portland continue to be the greatest Rotary club in the universe. Thank you, President Reed.
All right, thank you so much, Terry. He does such tremendous work for our club and for our membership. Not all of you see all of the hard work that he puts in behind the scenes, but he works very hard for our club, and he has done a tremendous job bringing in new members and continues to do so. He's not asking very much of each of you. He's asking for each of you to bring one new member. I think over the course of the year, that is quite feasible. We need to put our heads together and think about who that next member might be and put it into action and make it happen. So I appreciate all of the help from each of you on helping Terry out and bringing one new member each. Thank you so much, Terry. And now I would like to welcome Rotarian Nancy Wernecki, who will be presenting this week's reflection. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you, Reed. For today's reflection, I actually chose a poem, which is an old classic, and it sort of felt to me like it resonates with our current seasonal change into the fall, as well as being a piece of poetry that I'm sure every one of us can relate to through our various journeys in life. And I'm sure you all will know this piece of this poem. It's The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as far, fair, and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for the passing there had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Thanks, Deb.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Nancy. That was wonderful. And I'll remind each of you, if you are interested in giving a reflection in the future, you can reach out to Susan, who is in charge of scheduling reflections, and her email is twonavycaptains@gmail.com. And Skylar will be dropping that into the chat for your reference. Thank you, Skylar. And now it is time for our breakout rooms with a few of your fellow Rotarians. When you enter the breakout room, please introduce yourselves to the others in the group. And about a minute or so before you come back to this meeting, you'll get a notification that your breakout room will be ending in 60 seconds. As always, you're welcome to chat openly with your fellow Rotarians, but if you need a topic of discussion for today's breakout room, the topic will be, drum roll please, why did you join Rotary? Remember, the reason for these breakout rooms is to simulate a live meeting when we would have the opportunity to conversate with fellow Rotarians. My point is, go have some fun, and we'll see you back here in about 10 minutes.
Can you hear me, Skylar? Somehow I didn't get put in a room, or maybe I exited. Maybe I exited quickly. I don't know. That's multitasking.
No, yeah,
Hi.
no worries. I can put you in one if you want.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Good to see you.
You too.
Maybe that's why I didn't go in a room. So I could say hi.
Perfect. It worked out then.
All right, I always like coming back from those breakout rooms and everybody's face pops back up on the screen. You see smiles all around, and I know that everybody's out there having a good time, enjoying themselves, having good conversation with fellow Rotarians. It's been just a home run every time on these breakout rooms the last several weeks. So I hope you all are having as much fun as I am doing that. I hope that that continues to bring a little bit of the camaraderie that we're missing out on being on our in-person meetings. We're doing everything we can, and I hope you all enjoy that.
And Reed, your enthusiasm is contagious. So just say.
I appreciate that, Drew. I'm having fun. I enjoy being up here, and you guys are a great group of people to lead. And I just enjoy this every opportunity that I get. So I thank you all for the opportunity. We'll get back on track here, and I hope you all had some great conversations. And now, please welcome Rotarian and past president Dev Dion as our chair of the day.
Thank you, Reed. First of all, I'd like to thank Mike Pendergast for recommending our speaker today. And as I wrote in my notes, he would be chair of the day if he wasn't on a plane to Alaska. However, he has arrived in Alaska and he's participating. But I'm going to go ahead with the introduction. So, Mike, I'm glad you made it to Alaska safely. It's my pleasure to introduce Lori Miles-Olund. She's the third generation president of Miles Fiberglass and Composites. Lori's going to share her family's 60-year business history that has successfully transitioned through family leadership, as well as a multitude of speed bumps during the past year. Lori will describe how they've been handling taking on their largest customers to date, SpaceX. You may have seen them in the news last week with the non-military space flight, non-astronaut flight, and Heartland RV. But first, I asked Lori to share something interesting about her. And she shared with me part of her family history. When Lori was born, her dad didn't have the money to get her and her mom out of the hospital. So rather than leaving them there to grow up in the hospital, he traded them 2 canoes for their release. and sounds like a imaginative businessman. And Lori is here to tell us all about it. And she, I think, is an imaginative businesswoman. Please join me in welcoming Lori.
Well, thank you, Dave. I really appreciate that. Let's see, I'm going to share my screen here if I can find my. There, can you guys see that? Oh, let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry. There we go. Okay. Like I said, thank you for having me. My father was actually a Rotarian for most, since he was about 25. So most of his life, he was awarded the Paul Harris Award. And I just grew up just knowing him as a Rotarian and going to meetings with him when I was just really little. And in fact, I was telling in the breakout room, I remember when they were voting, he was a Milwaukee Rotarian. I remember when they were voting on whether to allow women to be members or not. That's how much he's been through in his life. And I just remember, I was very young and I just remember that being a really big deal. So some great memories. I know we had a lot of exchange students come stay with us. And so I just really appreciate Rotarians and everything they do. It's just such a great organization. So my father founded the business in 1969 when he was 23 years old. He had gone to Benson Tech and just really got intrigued with, making things and very curious. He was kind of a science-minded person. So that's what kind of intrigued him. We do have 9 members in the business. So it can be challenging at times, but it's actually really fun. And we try and manage that by not being under each other or reporting to each other, and try to be in different departments as well. That really helps too. We have 95 employees and 20 of those are actually wind blade technicians. So they roam around the country, different states, and climb towers and repair wind blades. And I know a lot of people don't think that the blades are made out of composites, but they are all composites. And ironically, none of those are in Oregon. We haven't really repaired any of the wind blades in Oregon. They've always been outside of Oregon. So I think that's kind of ironic. I was born in 1963 as the 3rd child, and starting a business takes a lot of money, and they were barely making it. So like Dave said, he needed to pay the bill and didn't have the money, so he traded me for 2 canoes. And kind of funny, when I got married, we were making hot tubs, and so he traded my reception for 2 hot tubs. So I kind of like to think I went up in value, but anyway, that's just how imaginative he was. So when we had one of the most smartest things he did was he bought our buildings that we worked out of. Like he bought the Oregon City building and the Audie Road building, which over the years has really saved the business many, many times. He did buy Tierra Spas in 1991, and that went out of business. It wasn't really that lucrative. And we almost lost both businesses. He refused to claim bankruptcy and came back and paid every single creditor off over the years. It took him a while, but he did it. And then just last year, one of our dreams was to be in one building. So we moved into one building here on Jennifer Street. And we're currently selling the Oregon City business, or the building in Oregon City. And this is our management tree. I call it kind of a family tree because it covers a lot of family members as well. But we do have 2 members of the management team that is not in the family. The picture up here, that picture on the upper left, upper hand corner, is us when we won the OSU Family Business Award for Harmony. And that really meant a lot to me. I think of all the awards, I think Harmony meant the most to me. This is the most significant tribute to our business that sets us apart from our competitors is I feel like we're innovative, we're fast and agile, we're quick to make decisions and quick to change, and we produce low and high volume parts. We make a military LMTV part that's used to cover the trailer on a LMTV for the military and the National Guard. It has room for a kitchen, so they use that to kind of go around and stay. It works as a kitchen as well. We make Railcar Liners for the refrigerated rail cars. And SpaceX is our newest customer, and we make the receptors on the ground that communicates up with the satellites. We have a job right now retrofitting 300 small wind blades for Japan. It was a product defect. And then we have, like I said, 20 wind technicians around the country fixing wind blades. We also have a service repair part that goes around and repairs electric buses. Electric buses are made out of fiberglass, and so when they crash, a lot of auto bodies don't know how to repair fiberglass. So we go around and do that on site, and we are also producing a lot of products in the green market. And I'm sure my dad, 1963, never thought that he would be in the green market. But fiberglass actually is a very good material for green products. We have expanded our processes. It used to be just spray up, like you see down in this picture right here. But now more notably is vacuum bagging and RTM. And those are resin transfer molding, which is a lot better for the environment. It actually injects the resin into the part instead of spraying it, and eliminates the emissions in the air. So we're trying to move more and more of our production into those types of closed molding systems. Like many businesses in 2008, we really suffered some really hard times. We were 80% into the RV market, and of those 8 customers, 6 of them went out of business, owing us over $300,000. We almost lost the business. We went down to 15 employees, and family members cut their wages by 40%. We closed our Oregon City facility, and that is one thing that really saved us because we owned it, so we didn't have a lease on that. We sold the other Audi Road building, and that we used that money to kind of keep us afloat. So those are some big decisions that really helped us stay afloat. The biggest change we did was we moved into 5 divisions so that we were more diversified after that. We kind of learned our lesson there. We started a new division of the Wind Service Repair Technician Division. We knew how to repair blades, or not blades, but fiberglass. We knew how to make fiberglass and repair fiberglass, but we had never worked on turbines before. And this was when the wind turbines were really starting up. If you can remember, it was like 2008. And Vestas came to us and said, we really need repair people. We need people who know how to do fiberglass. And so they kind of really helped us get into this. They took us, they helped us learn how to repair them. They put us through all the safety climbing. And then pretty soon we were out getting hotels and renting cars and flying people on airplanes. And if we hadn't done that, I don't know if we would have stayed in business, Sean. It was really a lifesaver for us. And we also started the bus, electric bus repair division, which was kind of funny because we were started by making the electric bus parts. We had for Proterra. And then we ended up losing that business to a big company in the Midwest. And we were kind of bummed about it, but then that company didn't really know what they were doing. So they hired us to go train them on how to repair or how to make the parts. And we did that. And then we started, it was very lucrative too. We made a lot of money doing that. And then they came back and asked us if we would send out people to repair them. So that type of business has been way better than actually making the parts. So we came out ahead on that. That ended up being a really good thing for us. When 2020 or when COVID hit, of course, like everybody, it was a hard time and we didn't really know what was happening and how that was going to go for us. We kind of had a real slowdown in the first 4 months, like everybody, everything was shut down. We applied for our PPP loan and we received that, which was great. We kept all of our employees. There wasn't much work, but we went to part-time. And then we slowly brought them back and we started making face shields for the community. And that was a great thing to do because everybody was in need of face shields, and we were able to do that and keep the employees busy. Then we had a surge, and all of a sudden we had a surge in sales, which was really amazing. So we brought everybody back and we started the process of moving, and we needed to be out by, I think it was November. And so we started moving, and the new facility that we moved into was in the middle of the evacuation of the wildfire. So we had to deal with the wildfire as well as get the sales out. So we kept producing. I don't think we missed one day of production during that whole process, but it was a challenge. And but we made it, and we're all in one place here, and we're just really, really happy that we're all together again. I'm just going to go through some of the products that we make. I talked about the LMTVs. These are the hard tops for the trailers of the LMTVs for the military. And this is Flare Space, and this is how I actually met Mike. And he asked if I wanted to present, but this is a great product. This is back here where the window is, we make the flare for that, so that those are installed, and then you're allowed to move the bed sideways, and then there's room for a kitchen and other places like for seating and stuff. It really makes the van more usable. And this has been going like hotcakes. Like we can't keep up. They're just making them like crazy. And I think it's because people are, working remotely. They can be anywhere. You can travel in them. You can live out of them, really. So it's just a great way to travel, see the world, and live out of them if you want. So that's been a really good product. We made the first prototype for the streetcar, and we did that with Oregon Iron Works. And these are the Railcar Liners that I was talking about. This is for a refrigeration system for rail cars. And since the gas has gone up and trucking's been so hard with COVID, this is another product line that has really taken off. So the panels there are out of polystrand, which really reduces the weight from steel, and it makes it much more efficient for transportation. And it's been a great product. It's really been good and taken off really, really big. This is a molecule that we made for Clackamas Community College for their science building, their new science building. We made that and donated it to them. It was a fun project. I asked them what the molecule was of, and they told me it was of penicillin. And I thought that was kind of appropriate, actually. This is our own prototype product. We developed this. It is actually like a lubrication bay for trucks and car stops. So the cars just drive over the top. And it's way more environmentally friendly. You can clean it out. It's easy. It's a great work environment for the employees. We're selling a lot of these up in Canada, believe it or not. They're just a lot going in up there. So we're really kind of proud of that development. And this just kind of shows some of our innovation. We actually have been trying to pitch this to Homeland Security for the border crossing and putting scanners in the bays so that you can scan under the trucks when they drive over, or you could go under them and actually look in the truck or under the truck. I pitched this back in DC to Homeland Security about 8 years ago, and they didn't have it in their budget at the time, but I'm not giving up on it because I think it's a great idea and it would really help, you know, with the border crossing and moving that along. It gets really clogged up on the borders. So that's what I'm working on right now. This is just kind of what we've learned over, you know, the years of the ups and downs. And I think for me, what's really important is to stay positive and believe in yourself and just believe everyone is doing their best. Treat your employees like family and they will be there during your hard times. Think outside the box. That's probably the big one for us. Don't be afraid of trying new things and take chances, because with everything you do, and even if you don't succeed, you learn from that chance and succeeding and trying, and give back to your community and have fun. And that's the end of the presentation. If anyone has any questions, I'll try and answer those.
That was amazing, Lori. Thank you. We do have some questions popping up, so we'll start with Chris.
Okay, so getting you out of the hospital was paid for with 2 canoes, which means at one point you were involved in the recreation business, and you know, a huge percentage of boats are now made from fiberglass. Are you still involved at all in the boating recreation part of the business, or has that evolved to something else?
It's funny, so he did canoes. That was kind of the first thing. And what's funny is he didn't really go down into the boat area, but now we are actually working with the Coast Guard, and we made some sun shields for them. And they were so excited about it. They have never used fiberglass, which is kind of funny because most boats are fiberglass. But they've come back and want us to make some hulls for them. And so we're looking forward to working with the Coast Guard on making the Coast Guard hulls for their boats.
Lori, we have a question from Will Nolan.
Hey, Lori, that was great. And one of the things I really appreciate is your honesty with how difficult it is to have a business. And I know that, you know, 2nd and 3rd generation businesses are even more difficult when you have additional family members in there. But so it sounds like your dad was very entrepreneurial, very willing to take risks, go out, try new things. And I'm wondering if that culture has continued, if somebody else has picked up that ball, because you're all into a bunch of different stuff. So I'm wondering how you decide what to make next, and you know, your exploration process around that.
Well, we try and share, you know, people normally come to us. It's kind of interesting, but they get us off the website and they usually come with their ideas, and then we try and put those into fruition and help them create their ideas. But we usually get together and say, is this something that we think is going to be, you know, worthwhile? And we all seem to be on the same page as far as trying new things. You know, we usually come to an agreement. We haven't really ever had a disagreement of what to go down. So it's been fairly easy. We have so my sons are both in the business, and that's the 3rd generation. And it'll be interesting to see how they work together. But so there's one nephew as well that's involved too. So
Mike has a question for you.
Hi, Lori.
hello.
I just want to say that I love the flares in my van that you made. Thank you.
Yeah. Did you
And-
put those on your van?
Yep, sure did.
Yeah.
They were great. The first question, or it's a two-part question. The first is, do you have any lessons learned during the succession process of moving the family business from generation to generation? And second part is, where are things going in the future with your company?
Yeah, so we have met with a consultant on succession planning, and that was probably the best thing we ever did. We did that like 4 years ago, and we couldn't have done it soon enough because my father's kind of in ill health right now, and it's nice that we've got that all done now, you know, and not having to do it right now. But we went down with the buy-sell agreement, and tried to plan as much out as you can. And we'll probably have to go back, and do it again and update it. But I can't tell you enough how the sooner you do that, the better. It's not an easy process, and it can be difficult. But we did things like prenups. People have to have prenups only for the stock in the company. Do they need to have a prenup? But it's really important because you just never know what's going to happen, and you don't want to lose your business to an ex-in-law or an ex-in-law that marries somebody else, and it can go many, many ways. Yeah.
Thank you, Lori. Dev, you have a question for Lori?
I do, Lori, thank you. I really enjoyed your presentation. Your father seems to have been quite the entrepreneur, and that seems to have been inherited. And I'm sure as you think among your family members, as you listen and look at things, did you always consider yourself and the rest of your family a group of entrepreneurs? Was it ever consciously thought of that way?
Yeah, I think we did, just because we grew up with him, and he was always making us like a telescope out of paper towel holders or whatever. We were always trying to think of what we could make out of things. And he had 3 girls. He didn't have any boys. So, but we were always looking at making some type of thing that we could write or do, and he would bring us down to the shop and have us make things down there too, anything we could think of. So I think growing up in that atmosphere has made us that way.
Great, thank you.
What a magnificent idea of having your truck rollover things at the border. That's just amazing that you came up with that. We have time for one more question. Does anybody else have a question? Where are you going in the future? Do you have any other ideas pushing forward?
Let's see. Well, I've kind of thought of a roof chute. Have you thought of roof chutes that they throw the stuff over the roof on? So we have something similar. It's a half like a water slide, because we are going to make water slides. So that's what gave me the idea. I'm thinking, oh, it's just like a water slide. You just throw that down the chute. So those are how we kind of think of things. We look at something that we're making, it's like, oh, this could be used at this, and then just go from there. But we are, one of our new clients is Whitewater World, and it's in Canada, and it's their largest whitewater pool manufacturer in the world. So we'll be making the humps for the surfing pools, and then also boats that they use for some of their boat rides. So, and then some water slides. So yeah, that's a whole new chapter that we haven't started yet.
That's amazing. Okay, well, I'm going to turn it back over to Reed. I don't think we have any more questions at this time. Thank you for an amazing presentation, and Reed, I'm handing it back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Carol, and thank you so much, Lori. Wonderful presentation today. And next week, we will be meeting right back here on Zoom at noon on Tuesday, September 28th. Next week's presentation will be from Abby Engers of Bali Welch. And please do not forget, if you have a speaker idea, please reach out to Dev Dion, who is our chair of the program committee. We're always looking for great program ideas, and our programs depend on our members taking the initiative. Okay, I want to thank, did we have any guests show up? I want to thank Mike Pendergast for going out of his way on his trip up to Alaska today for making an appearance here. Thank you for making the effort, Mike. And thank you so much to Nancy for today's thoughtful reflection. I want to thank today's chair of the day. As we just did, that was Mike Pendergast, but also Dev Dion for stepping in a pinch. Thank you, Dev, for stepping up to take on that role today. And of course, thank you so much, Lori, for taking the time to be with us today. I enjoyed your presentation. It sounds like we had several questions from our members today. That tells me everyone was paying attention and really enjoyed your presentation. So thank you so much for taking the time today. I would welcome you back as a guest anytime. And beyond that, I think you would make a wonderful member. So please think about that. We'd love to have you join our club sometime. So thank you anyways. And lastly, thank you to everybody behind the scenes that helped us with our program to run so smoothly. Thank you to Skylar, thank you to Carol, and most importantly, thank you to our committee chairs and to our members for everything that you all do for our club. As we close today's meeting, let's all remember why we're here. We serve to change lives. Let's continue to focus on the lives that we change and continue to step up and to do the right thing. Thank you all for joining us today. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.